Alright, so this one is called Minas Morgul. It's number one of two. The other one I'll show off in a different video because that one is a gift for a friend. But I'll demo the electronics first because I'm sure no one wants to hear me talking, but I'll talk afterwards. So obviously it's based off of Lord of the Rings, Minas Morgul, which used to be Minas Ithil, and some of the themes that are prevalent are it's white, but it's also dirty because Minas Ithil was taken over by all the orcs and the Nazgul, and thus became Minas Morgul. There's 3 sound fonts that are based off of a single one, so actually there's one that I'm calling Steel Sword 2. Steel Sword 1 was made by Novastar many moons ago, but pretty much all I did was just take that basic sword font and add some stuff for a Captain of Gondor themed font, and then a Nazgul themed. So this one I believe is on Steel Sword 2.
Sound bank selection.
Steel Sword 2.
So this one is Steel Sword 2. And all it is really is just sword noises, and there's no background. The original Steel Sword had kind of a haunting, windy background, which is cool, but I figured that's a little bit of ambiance that we don't need, and then we can sort of build off of that. So all it is just, whoops, there's a stab sound, but so it's really just, all it is sword sounds, and the blasters are crossbows, bow and arrows, that kind of thing. So, and it's a sword fight, and I took that off of the idea from my Vongsense, but it worked cool for this one too.
Sound bank selection.
Steel Sword 2. Captain of Gondor.
We'll save that one for the other demo font.
Night Wraith.
And this one's called Night Wraith. And so it's basically the same thing. But the blasters and the lockups and the, what's it called? Oh. Ooh, scary. That's obviously the Nazgul and the Fellowship of the Rings, you know, hovering over the hobbits in the forest and stuff. The Force and the Force Clash are just Nazgul screams. The lockup is when Frodo puts a ring on.
You cannot die. I see.
The thing I like about that is that when you release the button, it's kind of like taking the ring off, so it immediately goes back to silence, which is pretty cool. And those are the 2 or 3 new sound fonts for this one. I went with the power button, or the power switch for the battery connecting, and there's no kill feature other than that right there. Additionally, there is a speaker cutoff, and yes, I realize it can go into the mute on the go, but I decided that I just wanted a speaker cutoff. So on the other side here, there's actually a speaker cutoff. This is the recharge port. All it is just it's supposed to resemble a Graphics pin port, and overall there's lots of Graphics influences that I'll get into in a second here. But all this is just 4 pins. The middle 2 are the red connections, and the outer 2 are the black connections. So it's like, doesn't matter which way you put it in, it's always gonna recharge. Whatever, you know what I mean. So this was the first attempt, or the first project, I guess you want to call it that used the rubber grips with the stuff underneath it. I used that on the my rapier redo, but this is originally where it came from, because honestly, this hilt, it's been completed for a really long time. I've just been doing other stuff and I haven't had a chance to show it off. But the only MHS thing right here is Blade Holder 6, and it was, again, the same technique used with the rapier, but again, to resemble a sword pommel. A couple of things that I really wanted to get across were the rotting from the transition from Minas Ithil to Minas Morgul. And originally this was a white hilt, and through various iterations of weathering, it's become old and decayed and stuff like that. One of the best descriptions that I had heard was one of the conceptual artists, John Howe, when he was describing Minas Morgul, was that it used to be white, but through the orcs' modifications of it, they plastered like metal that rusted and dripped, and iron, kind of like rusting dental work and stuff like that. But that's kind of what I took as my cues as far as how to weather this. So in addition to like browns and coppers and bronze colors, there's some greens in there to sort of show the rotting in addition to the rusting and the dripping and stuff. So pictures are up, and they're a little bit more detailed, so you can go look at the pictures. Lost my train of thought. Oh, the coloring, it's all powder coating. So there were a couple of different attempts on how I wanted to accomplish this, and this is obviously not the first try, but I've discovered that by powder coating it all white, and then spraying the green on, and then dabbing the green off, and then cooking it, and then spraying the browns on, and then dabbing it off, so that it made very specific dripping patterns and whatnot. It gave the impression of, that dripping dirtiness that's been built up over many years, and I thought it turned out pretty well. And now I have a new technique for creating a long-lasting weathering, instead of just having to worry about paint or olive oil. I can't believe people still use that, but hey, whatever. Like I said, there was some Graflex influences, i.e. the pin ports. The angle was not exactly an S-curve, but again, that's one of those things that influenced it. I guess that you want to call it going back to the roots for the design influences and stuff, but the eyes here are supposed to resemble the pin ports. Also, the layering and stuff is a little bit more indicative of like Gondorian architecture, seeing as how the Gondorians were the ones that created it to begin with. But through, the orcs doing whatever the things they do, it's become that. But again, just more weathering. That is Orcish runes. I don't know if you can see, but that I basically just etched in using etcher. I think it was an etcher. It's been a while, but it says Nazgul Kreith Durbat Burzum, and I totally forgot what that means, but I went through and it actually means something. Right here it says Morgul, right there again in the Orcish runes, or the Uric runes, and yeah, looks like a face, kind of looks like a Malgus. But yeah, that's Minas Morgul, so hope you liked it.